Warning, this podcast may contain bad language and content that some listeners may find Christmassy and offensive.
Very nicely done. You'd think after 100 odd times you would not be as good at it as you once were. But well done. And that's your Christmas gift from me. It's me not being a dickhead for once.
Can I get that every day of the year? Welcome to Seesaw Podcast
with T, Cleves, and Selena.
Each week, offering up a blind perspective on life.
Welcome everyone to a Christmas special, which is the regular scheduled, but also around Christmas of Seesaw. How are we all doing on this chilly, festive, seasonal episode?
Yeah, all good. I finished wrapping some presents yesterday. Took me an age, and they still look terribly wrapped.
Artisan.
Yeah.
And Selena, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine. We still have presents to wrap here as well.
How was the holiday?
It was good. Although, it was good. It's a lot nicer and hotter than here, for sure.
Was it still lie by the pool weather?
Yeah, we were quite lucky actually. There was sunshine. I was in shorts. It was cloudy some of the time, but 24 degrees. My husband said at our hotel, apparently I booked a retirement home because it was just full of old people who obviously escaped to warmer weather times.
Sounds good though. I think we could all do a little bit of sun. Oh, it's just British. Whenever it gets super hot, we all complain and lock ourselves in because it's too hot. And then it gets to this time of year, we're like, oh, where's the hot gone? Never happy.
It's bizarre though. It's bizarre in Lanzarote, I'm sure other hot countries as well, like having a Christmas tree up and Christmassy stuff in a hot country. It's just not right. It's weird.
The hotel I guess the hotel had a load of decorations up and stuff then.
Yeah.
Were they playing the Christmas classics of the UK, or was it a lot of Spanish style music?
Both. They definitely had Michael Bublé at Christmas on at one point, and then there was a bit of Feliz Navidad as well. So they covered all bases. Nice.
And then the Bublé version of Feliz Navidad.
Bublé version of everything, especially if the clientele as old as you mentioned. Bublé is going to get the women hot and bothered.
Wow.
Let's be fair, he is the sex symbol of a generation. Not necessarily his generation. So, before we kick things off, does anyone have any quick blind news?
I've got some good quick blind news for you today. Prince King Charles visits National College for the Blind. Guess which one?
Worcester?
No. Hereford.
Why? It's quick blind news. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That was...
Jealous you're not there this year, right? You could have met the king.
Yeah. Unless, some glaring accident involving some craziness. I don't know. The royal family are weird.
Couldn't just let it be nice.
No, I was thinking that. Come on. It's supposed to be a Christmassy episode. All happy.
Forsaking all crazy accidents. I'm sure it'll be great.
Well, I do have some nice quick blind news, some wholesome stuff this time.
Go on.
A blind dog was rescued by a fisherman. It got lost, basically, and it was swimming out at sea because it got lost from a beach, and a fisherman picked it up and returned it to its family in time for Christmas.
That is a nice story.
There you go. Blind dogs. An actual blind dog, not people who say, oh, how's your blind dog doing? It's like, well, he's not blind. Right. Well, this week we're bringing back one of my favourite shows, which I don't remember the theme tune of, but we are going to be chatting about jobs and how we'd make those accessible. Cleves, run the music.
Welcome to I Can Do That,
the show where we make absolutely any job in the world accessible to anyone.
Concept as usual. We pick a job, the one that we think is probably pretty inaccessible, and then we try and make it accessible, but with a Christmas twist.
So I think we will go ladies first, as it is Christmas, and put Selena on the spot and then see the panic. That's my gift. Panicking women. Much like Bublé.
That's all the year round as well. You just don't stop giving on that one.
I know.
Okay. I'm gonna go. Let's go with the big man first. Case, main event. Santa Claus.
You're talking about the real one, right? Not just a mall Santa.
Yes.
I said the real one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, blind Santa.
Can we preface this whole thing by just going? They can't be just. You can't say that he can do his job via Christmas magic.
Okay, I think.
I didn't even think of that.
Because otherwise, everything can just be done by Christmas magic.
Okay, so how are we going to make Santa's job more accessible, Selena? What are your initial thoughts on this?
Obviously, he's got his guide reindeer to help him deliver the presents.
That makes sense.
That does
I wasn't
make a
really
lot of
thinking
sense.
about that.
Well, they have adorable harnesses.
Please don't distract me. I'm flying. Yeah.
I love that.
He doesn't have to pick up any of the poo either.
I mean, let's be fair. Santa isn't picking up the real poo anyway. No, I like it.
Yeah, and obviously people normally put out carrots for Rudolph, but Santa's going to have them to see if it helps him bring back his sight.
I think I ate a lot of carrots when I was growing up, and they did absolutely nothing. What a waste of time.
My doctor initially told me I should eat more carrots and my eyesight would improve.
Did it?
No, clearly not.
No.
Right, here's the thing. Let's say Santa can just get down this chimney after he's landed the sleigh on top of the roof. What's he using? A cane to find the chimney stack?
I'll just pop one of his guide reindeer out to help him, and then tie them around the chimney and shimmy down, and a bit of because all the lights are off in the house that they go to, obviously, other than the Christmas tree lights, a bit of echolocation to help locate the tree.
Okay, how does he know what presents he's giving the kids?
Braille.
Oh, Braille labels.
Braille labels, okay.
Yeah. Braille labels, love it. So I assume he has one of those, what is it, like Mountbatten Braille embossers, or whatever they used to be called, so he can run those labels off in mass.
Can you imagine what the North Pole would sound like during the...
I imagine it sounds horrendous.
in the working months? It'd be loud.
Can you imagine that? Instead of like the whimsy of like, I don't know, Christmas songs and all like the elves working, it's just clunk, clunk, clunk of 10,000 Perkins. So, as far as the rapping is concerned, as Cleves has established with his rapping skills, how is Santa going to be making sure these are appropriately rapped?
Oh, he doesn't do the rapping anyway, does he? That's the elves. That's Santa's little helpers.
Right. Maybe that's the next job.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about a genuine mall Santa though? How's he's gonna, let's say he's one of Santa's. Did you get this actually when you were a kid? Your parents, if you asked them like, how can Santa be in more than one place at once? My parents used to tell me they were like Santa's helpers, but not the real Santa.
Yeah.
Do you think kids would ask a lot of questions if they had a blind Santa in like a shopping centre?
Yeah, that's very true.
It'd be a bit weird, wouldn't it? Like, I bet you can't sit on Santa's lap anymore, can you? I bet those days are long gone.
Yeah, have a little stool or something next to Santa, I think.
I guess
that's depressing, isn't it? Sitting next to Santa, especially during COVID. Like you got to sit next to him,
2 meters away.
2 meters. I'm sure there are photos out there of that, and that's got to be the most depressing image I've ever thought of. Okay, so you've got his guide reindeer. Are we going to assume he has some form of satellite navigation?
Yeah, he's probably got, like, what is it you use, Selena? Like Soundscape or something like that?
Yeah, that's been discontinued. That should have been my Quick Blind News. I didn't even think of Quick Blind News. That will be no more come June 2023. Microsoft have given up on it. But Santa will be all right for this Christmas.
Yeah, next year. He's going to have some real problems.
Yeah. I like it. I think when we're talking diversity, I think having a disabled Santa would be amazing. And I think without even using Christmas magic, I mean, the job's very doable. I mean, you're not going to get access to work to help because, it'd be next Christmas by the time he's got it all sorted.
Yeah, never claiming it back 2 years Christmas is on.
Yeah, absolutely skint for a year while he tries to get them to pay him.
There's some really shoddy gifts one year because Santa just can't afford to buy more raw materials. You clock up a lot of miles as well on that site.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe it hit his allowance too quick.
On the bright side, though, you wouldn't have much paperwork to fill in because it's only 1 day's work.
True.
Mm.
I like it. So I'd give this a thumbs up. Absolutely.
There's a rating system at the end now. We just thumbs up and or down in them.
Yeah, but it can go halfway as well. I think that's what we did in the first episode.
Oh, like
we
a
didn't
hit, miss,
from
or
that
maybe
point.
kind of thing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I
All
think
right.
it's a solid thumbs up from me.
Yeah. Anything doubt Christmas magic.
We said no Christmas magic.
Good, sorry.
I think it'll work, but I bet there's a few October Christmas trees, come Christmas morning.
It's got to make a quick getaway.
Can you imagine just fumbling around in the dark and banging into a coffee table and all the kids, instead of hearing the whimsy of Santa, it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to pick things up. It's like, where the hell's that gone? I'd love it. I really do. Yeah, thumbs up. Okay. Cleves, what have you got?
Well, I'm just going to go off what Selena was talking about earlier. So what about like Santa's elves? Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, they're all blind. not rather than just one, and his elf friends will help them out. It'll be a case of they're all blind.
So quick question on that. Is this due to shoddy work conditions? Maybe it's like lead in the water pipes?
Yeah,
and
it's
they've
like
all been blinded through Santa's negligence.
Yeah, maybe. It was like the North Pole Industrial Revolution and things have gone bad for them.
Oh, no.
But at the same time, there's not a lot of jobs around in the North Pole, so Santa knows he can do terrible work conditions and get away with it.
I mean, no one's chasing him up, are they?
No.
He's not got no government agencies coming over doing an inspection.
Krampus. Maybe Krampus is like the health inspector.
Okay, that's fair.
Anyway, he's done bad things to all these elves, health-wise, that is. And they now have to make a load of toys, but they can't seem to do it. Firstly, how are they going to operate heavy machinery? Actually, you probably could do that with a
bump
lot.
tops.
Straight. Yeah, that would work.
Load of bump tops.
Mm-hmm.
Just on everything.
Also, when I think of like elves from TV series or movies with Santa's in, they're always making like quaint, like little wooden toys and things like that.
Yeah, the stuff that no kid has ever received ever.
And I think I might have got something like that maybe when I was a kid, but then I would have chucked it to one side for the Nintendo or whatever. I'm not saying I was ungrateful, but
It sounds like you were.
as soon as like video games consoles came along.
Okay.
We're talking about Santa's little helper elves, not Elf on the Shelf elves.
Oh yeah, helping elves, like people that make the toys, work at the North Pole factory.
Mm-hmm.
I'm basing a lot of this off. I watched the series The Santa Claus the other day, the one with Tim Allen, based on the movies, and they got a lot of elves in that.
I'm glad you mentioned Elf on the Shelf there, Selena, as well, because I'm glad I haven't picked that, because I don't think that's accessible at all. The whole point is to watch the children. He kind of needs sight for his one purpose of a job.
Is that what he does?
Yeah, that's what they do. They watch. They watch the kids to make sure they're being nice.
Right, so just to be clear, we're not allowed to sit on Santa's lap, but some elf sat on a shelf watching kids is absolutely fine by today's standards, is it?
Apparently so.
I just don't get this world.
It's not the creepiest thing about Christmas from a parenting perspective, I assure you. My brothers do they've got some really weird apps out there now to keep kids in line.
Like what?
Oh, there's an app where you can have Santa phone you up and you put your kid's name in, and then like you schedule it for like 5 o'clock, and then it will ring and it will look like it's actually ringing. And you get the kid to answer the phone, and like you put into the app like the kid's name and whether they've been naughty or whether they've been nice. And if you think as a kid you're getting phone from Santa who calls you by name and says you've been naughty, I mean that's going to scare the shit out of kids. That's evil, but they exist.
That'd be a bit weird though. Is it going to be one of these calls where, because they're not going to know what the kid's saying, are they? Because it's just going to be like a pre-recorded, ho, ho, ho. Good morning, little Craig. I hope you've been a naughty boy this year.
Apparently they're quite good. And you've got to remember, this is for kids.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, kids are stupid. I get it.
I mean, it's not going to work on not a 21-year-old, is it?
It might do.
Cleves, have you been naughty this year?
Please, there's a call for you. What, on your phone, Tony? Why would they be calling for me? Yeah, okay, fine. It might be nice.
Okay, back to the elves. So
Yeah.
we're in the North Pole, but you need a lot of elves to make all these presents. So am I thinking that the North Pole is the most accessible place to live for blind people?
It is now. They had to put a lot of things in place after the Great Industrial Revolution, where all the elves lost their sight.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Now they've put things in place. But what are these things? This is, I don't know. They'd have to. Oh.
Tactile flooring to begin with. I mean, they'd have to do that to know areas that they can walk, like the walkways, the safe areas. So tactile floors, definitely.
What if they're using big old saws and machines to make the little wooden toys?
Yeah, but then they know like the extra bumpy bits are in the danger zones.
Right.
So they don't walk on those.
How are they going to follow? Do you think? Right, just from a normal blind person's perspective at the moment, if you were trying to cut several pieces of wood and then glue them together or nail them together, whatever, to make, I don't know, a wooden train, do you think you'd be able to do that without sight?
Well, I imagine they're particularly skilled elves. I'm not saying there wouldn't be any maimings at some point, but like you said, it's not that they have any other options, is it?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, if it's noisy, that would be quite difficult if you had no sight.
I guess you'd have like earmuffs, right? A lot of people have them if they're using.
So now you're deaf and blind.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Well, maybe right in the headphones, but they've got like an audible guide on how to create their toy.
Okay.
Grab piece 1.
Who's narrating
Trapezoid
that?
4. I don't know, Santa. Grab trapezoid 1.
Is that your Santa voice?
Yeah. Glue it to the wheel. It was on his off day, all right? You can't be merry all the time.
I think that'd help. That'd be helpful, though. I like the idea of that.
I agree. What about all the electronic stuff?
Gonna be tricky. I guess he could still use it.
Well, no, I was just going to say everyone's going to get iPhones with voiceover turned on. Oh.
Yeah. They've got to make those iPhones.
I mean, it's similar to the past one I made an electrician accessible by just having an access to work assistant with them at all times. Every elf has an access to work assistant to help them visually with everything.
So basically just doubled their entire workforce then.
Yeah, but the government pays for them.
Yeah, again, as we said before, you only had to claim back for 1 day last time. Now you have to claim back for like 364 with God knows how many different elves. That'd be a nightmare.
He could get administrators in. He'll just have to get.
How many people are you hiring now just so these elves can do one job?
I mean, let's be fair. It would have been easily solved by not having an army of blind elves.
Oh, no, but you can't discriminate.
No, that's true.
And he blinded them. Part of the clause of blinding the elves was that they got to keep in employment. There's quite a big backstory to this now. Yeah.
So do you think, like, maybe pre-blindness, you got all your usual toys, but now everyone, they're all just weaving baskets or something that I know a typical blind person
repairing bicycle.
And that's why we can't use Christmas magic, because the magic of Christmas is lost now, because all we get is baskets and stuff.
It's basically just Dunelm.
Yeah. Maybe we could get maybe they start making like food-based presents instead. I think if I was blind, you could probably still make chocolate if you had like beeping temperature alarms to make sure you could properly temper it and stuff.
Basket full of chocolate, that's what you say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go. We could do maybe everyone instead. Yeah, this is where we're going wrong. Maybe you're right, Selena. Rather than getting toys that people want, everyone just gets a sort of basket, like a hamper. I wouldn't mind a hamper at Christmas.
Hamper full of artisan goods.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not sold on this one. I don't think it's impossible, but I think logistically it would be so hard on the scale. I think one blind elf would be, you could work around it with assistance from his other elf friends. But I think all of them being blind, I don't know. I think this is a middle fun for me.
For me, it's probably a down thumb. Even if you look at it as just a regular factory of workers, like imagine if you were just creating anything, a whole factory with everyone being blind, that would be tough.
I can't see of any factory management team who would think that'd be a good idea. Selena, what do you think? Is this a yay or an A?
Sounds like an A, doesn't it?
There we go. One of the jobs that blind magical creatures can't do. Work in Santa's toy shop. Okay, shall we round this off with mine?
Go on.
The Grinch.
How apt.
I think the Grinch being blind, I don't think that would make any difference on what that job entails at all.
Oh, is he going to find his cave? Does he live in a cave? He lives at the top of a mountain, right, or something?
Yeah, but yeah, he'd get accessible, like a lift installed.
Okay.
With braille buttons. If you're on a mountain, you've got money, ain't you?
Yeah, I don't think he owns the mountain. He's just Christmas Gollum.
True. But he's already got a dog, Max. So, guide dog.
Okay, yeah.
Train Max up. Get him some a second set of work skills. And let's face it, the Grinch is there to ruin Christmas. So I think the fact that he's blind, in the same way that Santa knocking over things accidentally in someone's home, old Grinchy just has to get in there and just sort of wander around, just knocking shit over. I think, as far as what his job would be, I don't think he's going to have a hard time ruining Christmas for people.
So for you, he's basically just going to bumble around.
Basically.
I mean, his job is to technically steal presents, right? I guess he doesn't have to...
He can just steal anything. It doesn't have to be specifically presents at this point.
Right.
Just start taking random bits of crockery, candles.
If he can... Actually, his job wouldn't be too bad. Let's say he's got this guide dog. It doesn't matter what house he's going to. He doesn't have to know what kid's inside. He just has to steal whatever presents are under the tree, right?
Yeah.
So it probably is quite doable.
Train the dog to find the tree. And yeah, I wouldn't mess with the Grinch. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be subtle, does he?
You'd have to have quite a few trained dogs though, to pull that sleigh back up the mountain.
Nah, he just dumps them in a hole outside. He's there to ruin Christmas. He doesn't want Christmas for himself. He hates Christmas, doesn't he? Just take the choice gifts for himself if he needs them. Like some of those hampers that the blind elves are making with the artisan goods. Feeds himself for the year. That and Link's box gift sets.
Yeah, elves could probably make them, right?
I mean, yeah, I can't see that being an issue. I think the Grinch would have an easy time, if we're being honest. Easier job than Santa.
I never watched The Grinch.
just throws that in there after 5 minutes.
If I'm being honest, I'm not a fan of Dr. Seuss either. But I was just thinking of the jobs that I don't want to go into the mundane, like DPD delivery drivers. Because let's face it, they're the ones doing a lot of the work at the moment.
Right, we're on there then doing it.
Yeah. And, not having a license is going to be a severe handicap for a blind person to do that.
How would a DPD driver work if you were blind?
Well, you wouldn't be the driver, would you?
You'd need your driverless DPD van.
Yeah, that's a good point. But then at the end of that, you think if they've come around to driverless DPD vans, surely they could probably make some sort of delivery system where the driver is completely irrelevant. Because you still got to go in the back then and read all the braille labels.
Good. And then you have to find the gate or part of the driveway to go down. Hope it's the right place. Try and find the number or house name or whatever it is.
Well, we've got soundscapes this Christmas. It might be a bit easier.
This Christmas will be easier. Next year, not so much.
Yeah.
I think that would get a clear thumbs down. It's just a logistical hellhole. It also relies heavily on technology that doesn't exist yet or is soon to not exist as of this time next year.
Yeah, it's Christmas. It could exist in Christmas land, time, Whoville.
Okay, we're back to the Grinch, are we?
Yeah, I couldn't think what the town was called. Yeah.
Well,
what's the elf thing where they, how you got Elf on the Shelf, when they hide the elf, what's that? Like the naughty elf thing?
It's Elf on the Shelf, isn't it?
Is that still the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
They just move it around.
No, that's what I was thinking of.
Again, not an accessible job for a blind elf on the shelf.
Again, this creeps me out a little bit. Why is he watching the kids? What's the point?
Because he reports back to Santa.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was why.
Yeah.
I thought it was just to make sure they didn't fall down or something. I
What?
I don't know.
It's a stuffed toy.
Yeah, no, but it's in like the story, I assume it's going to be like a real elf, right? That watches them.
Well, he
Yeah.
doesn't move. The kids never actually see him come to life and do things. And
Elf Toy Story. Okay, well, I sort of get that now. Then
I'm glad we could clear up.
I don't know. I just genuinely thought he was doing it to make sure like the kids were all right, like nothing bad happened to them, like wander off a cliff or something.
Toy. It's not going to do anything.
No, but I'm assuming that it's just like a real dude now, like a real elf thing. I think that's what it is.
No. Elf on the Shelf is like the whole thing is they watch, like they're told the story. It's like, don't be naughty. The elf reports back to Santa. But
Well,
that's what I was saying. If they were blind, they're not reporting shit, are they?
You can still hear them though, right?
Yeah, but that just means the kids don't have to say anything when they're being naughty.
It would be trickier to know. How would he do that?
I think
Exactly.
you need to put like little bells on your kids. People like blind parents do that, so you know where they are. So you kind of.
I'm sorry, what? This is news to me. What? Put bells on your children.
Yeah, you know the phrase "I'll be there with bells on." That's where it comes from.
Would you not be able to just hear their bones crunching from where they've been beaten to a pulp by kids at school for having bells on constantly?
I think you can put them on their shoelaces or something, like just tie them in, and then so when they're walking around, you know where they are.
No one does this, Selena. Come on, no one. No.
Okay, I have two questions. One, did your parents do it to you? And two, if you had a kid, would you do it to them?
My parents aren't blind, so they didn't need to do that to me.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Okay, I'm not very good at this today. I'm just not getting the points of things.
Okay, but the second question is still valid.
Yeah. If you had a kid, would you put bells on them?
Well, I was considering it, but now you guys are completely.
I think there would be a point, wouldn't there, where the kid has gotten so. I might do it if like when they're between 1 and 2 or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
crawling, but
and
they're not
talking.
walking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't shout and say like, "Where are you?" When they're not responding.
Yeah.
I think it's fair enough.
And they're just crawling across the carpet. It'd be good to know whether they're tottering off somewhere.
Okay, I kind of see that. But the way I had it in my head is like the kids are going to school at like the age of 5 and they've got bells on their uniform.
Yeah.
That could not end well for the kids.
The kid might like it if they had a little jangly headband or something.
Yeah, a headband at school. Let's draw more attention to this.
I don't know, like a scrunchie or something in the hair.
Okay, scrunchy, yeah. Okay. A headband. Well, like Roger Federer showing up with a headband.
No, I
for
meant one
no
of those like
reason.
the ones that girls used to wear, predominantly in the
Alice
90s.
bands.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
How do you report back to Santa though? I'm doing this now as if it was a person. I guess you could use the whole soundscape thing to get back, right? You could use the Santa navigation system.
Yeah, but
Has
that's
this
to go
elf got
back
a
in
guide?
person.
I think you just send a text. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just use an iPhone with voiceover.
Well, we don't get iPhones in this anymore because all we get now for Christmas is the hampers.
Okay. So, a Braille letter.
Well, no, you can't. You can't send it, can you? Because the postal workers are on strike.
That's fair point.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, if anybody could send the text to Santa, couldn't they? That would make sense. Okay, fine. I think his job is kind of doable, but to get around as well, if he just keeps appearing and reappearing on different shelves, no, I'm not sure I was going to find the shelves.
Elf magic.
Just got to feel around, haven't you?
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, he's not meant to be seen, is he? And if he's scrambling around while the kids are playing, well, I guess he'll know when the kids are playing and distracted because they'll be jingling all the way. So he'll know he'll have a bit of time.
Again, I'm just thinking, like with Santa putting the present under the tree, I'm just thinking the elf crawling across the shelf, knocking over books and going, shit, trying to prop them back up again.
All of a sudden, everything goes silent, and he's like, "Oh, the kids are watching me, aren't they?"
Well, there we go. There's a bonus one. I don't think it's accessible. That's a thumbs down.
For me, that's a middle thumb.
Yeah,
but it would rely largely on the kids having bells on. The parents would have to also be part of the Christmas plan to have the kids watched by something. and then reported on.
Not creepy at all. I think when it comes to surveillance, maybe this is something that you leave to the sightlings.
Yeah, it does require a bit of sight, that one.
Hooey. That was a right good laugh.
Jeez.
Not genuine.
Didn't sound it that way, but...
No.
I enjoy that show. But no, it's good to get seasonal up in here. So before we end off, from everyone here at Seesaw, we hope you have happy holidays, whatever you are celebrating. And if you have any ideas for Christmassy, holiday, or any other like jobs which we could potentially make accessible, let us know at the links coming up.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for listening to the Seesaw Podcast.
You can find us on Twitter at Seesaw Pod, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram and YouTube at Seesaw Podcast. You can also email us at seesawpodcast@gmail.com. Like, rate, review, subscribe, and then you can also find us on TikTok, but get us on all the other places. This podcast was recorded in front of a blind audience.